Hi everybody, and welcome to another webinar from Arial.
O que está a mudar no ensino. So I'm Sandra, this is Shawn, and today we're going to be looking forward by looking back, okay? So today it's all about the teacher. You see, last time we had a session, a webinar, we noticed that in the comment section, some people brought to our attention the fact that there's a lot of focus on students, but not really that much focus on the teachers. So Shawn and I started thinking about how can we help other teachers focus on themselves and take care of their own motivation, right, Shawn?
That's right, and I wanted to tell you that we have a large audience there.
Okay.
And very glad that everybody's here. So let's look at what we can say about things that will motivate us, that'll make us feel better. And first of all, let's look at this picture and talk a little bit about this. This person could be looking forward, could be looking back, I'm not sure. But there's one thing for sure, that when you look back at your practice, when you look at things that have happened to you or that have been going on in your classroom, this gives you a chance to look forward. Yeah. But look at this. It's not a straight path. There's
a lot of steps to climb. There's a lot of going up, going down, going forward, going back. There's a lot of reflection involved in what makes us the teachers that we are and what makes us evolve, right? We would not be able to do things differently if we didn't reflect back on what we've done in the past.
And it's not just somebody telling you what to do. It's about you learning what's best for you.
Yeah, so we all know what happens when we tell students to sit straight, right? They're going to do it right away just to please us. Okay, so today, what are we going to look at today, Shawn?
Lots of steps, okay? Today we're working with steps to start off the session. First of all, the story of my life, where we are and how we feel. Okay, this is really important to know how we feel at this moment.
Yeah, because by doing that, then we can go down memory lane and we can start looking back at what we've been doing as teachers, okay? And by doing that, we'll be able to prepare our path to the future by looking forward to a new day, right, Shawn? And then at the end, hopefully we'll have some time for questions, and we're looking forward to your questions, okay? Just a couple of a note before we start. We are going to need you to participate in the session.
Be ready.
Okay, so please have pen, paper, Post-its if you do have them. Please have your phone nearby because you're going to need it. Okay? Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I think that's it. So moving on. The story of my life. Let's start off with that.
All right, so you go to menti.com. Okay, so if you were with us last time, you know that Shawn and I got a little bit mixed up here with the tech, but we fixed it. We know how to work with it now. Okay.
And so we're going to open up menti.com. So menti.com.
Or if you have the app, you can open the app on your phone. Really useful to have the app.
And we have 2 questions today.
Okay.
So in order to give your answers to these questions, you will need to go to a code, or type in a code, I should say, 2801128. Okay, it's right up here at the top of the screen. Type this in, and we'd like to hear, and this is going to be a very interactive thing. As you type in your answer, as you submit it, and you can submit 3 or 4 different answers if you like, it'll post up here. How do you feel about teaching right now?
So once you get on the app, you're going to see a screen with the question, this same question, and you've got 3 boxes where you can put words or short phrases about how you feel about your teaching right now, okay? Let's see how many people can join us. Hopefully, as you start adding your answers, we're going to start seeing them up here. Okay, we've got one.
Curious. Okay, so somebody's curious about their teaching. Maybe curious about new things that should be done.
Curious about what we're doing today, for example. That's really important.
Yeah.
It's interesting that we have curious, because this is what we were actually expecting. People to tell us that they're overwhelmed, that they're extremely stressed. It's so nice to see that I'm not alone in teaching at the moment, in all the emotions that I have.
This is our chance to share. We don't have coffee breaks. We don't have anything, but this is our chance to share. Overwhelmed, challenged. I feel challenged, definitely.
But it's also very interesting to see that regardless of all this input that you guys are giving us and all the things that you're telling us that you're feeling right now, the most common thing that you're all saying, or most of you are saying, is that you feel tired, right?
Yeah, and it is a tiring time. So
But
it's good that we have some contagious things
Yeah.
too, such as still excited, happy. But there are, of course, the pressures and the demands.
There's still people who feel enthusiastic, but there's a lot of worried as well. People who are worried, people who are feeling insecure. Still a lot of, it's so nice. So we're coming to see that the topics or the words that you're using the most are actually tired, challenged, anxious, stressed, but something that I have to say, the word happy has popped up there quite a few times.
Quite a few
as well.
times.
Right,
and then
there
we
it
have
is.
fighters too. We have fighters and we have challengers.
Yeah. Don't you feel like everybody, and please don't take this wrong, but like everybody's cheering for health personnel, and I'm very grateful for them. Don't you feel that people don't really remember about us teachers here? We're fighters too. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, really good. And we're going to move on to our next question. I hate to do this because I can see 85 people have already participated, 86, and I wish I could just let you continue to participate. But if you haven't had a chance to input your thoughts here, please do so in the chat box, okay? Shawn and I are monitoring the chat box so we can see what your comments are, okay?
And also we'll try to get this image
Yes.
into the PowerPoint that you'll be
Receiving later, okay? So moving on to the next question. Okay, so 94,
Oh, wow.
95, I'll let it go up to 100, all right?
I do want to point out these great things: comfortable, proud, optimistic, okay, enthusiastic. And we have to hold on to these good moments and these
Yeah.
good feelings too, because there are a lot of challenging feelings and a lot of feelings that can get us down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. There's another question coming up, and that is, if you could go back and choose a different job, would you? Now be honest. I know how I feel. I know how Shawn feels, but we do want to know how you're feeling, okay? Ooh, a lot of people. Do you think we're going to get it wrong again, Shawn? Oh no, this was working just a minute ago.
Yeah, it was.
It's probably waiting because 95 people voted in the first one. So it's going to wait until 85 people vote to show us the...
Good point, because it wouldn't influence the results. Because
Exactly.
if somebody says probably not, it's not that you're going to be jumping on the bandwagon,
Yeah.
but it might psychologically influence somebody. So probably software's doing that.
So what do you think we're going to get? More yes, more no?
I'm going to guess more. Choose a different job. More no's.
You're wishful thinking. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because if you start considering about what society thinks about teachers, what parents think about teachers, what students think about teachers, what teachers think about teachers, I don't know if a lot of people would want to continue to teach.
But they're good things. And that's what
There
we're
are
going to
good
find
things.
today.
Yeah, I know there are good things. Can you see in the chat box what people are telling us the good things are?
Well, we have a few no's. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a few no's, and we have we have some yeses too. Okay, so it's kind of looks balanced out in the chat. Okay,
Yeah.
no's and yeses.
So please, if you answered the first question, do answer this one as well. Otherwise, we won't get the answers up here.
By the way,
And
what's
it's
the
going
little
to be...
box?
Sorry?
Oh no, that's the. Oh yeah.
But we can move this one
Yes.
here. Yeah. So we can't see. We've got 69 people.
Mm-hmm.
70. Come on, we still need 26 more. Those 26 people who voted a while ago need to vote now as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You still got a lot of no's there?
Well, more recently, more yeses.
Oh, that's good. That's
Good. choose a different job. So,
Oh, to choose a different job. They were saying yes, they would choose a different job.
yeah. We have this, and I understand.
If you said that you would choose a different job, would you like to share with us in the comments why you would choose a different job?
I can
What's
tell
the
you
main
why.
reason?
I can tell you why some people wouldn't, because teaching is a passion.
Okay.
But I can tell you why some people would. They're tired of this time, and I understand that perfectly.
Yeah. And do you think that the pandemic would influence your decision? If you would know that 20 years, 30 years, 10 years into your teaching, you would have a situation where you'd be teaching from home, behind a screen all day, talking to kids without looking at their faces. Do you think that would influence your decision? Mine would, honestly. Mine would. I would choose teaching again. I would, but at the same time, I think that more than other things, just like the pay, I would think that the way society looks at teachers and it does have a huge influence on us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get the results here, but I don't think we can until we have all people here, which is a shame.
Yeah. So.
No more comments?
Oh yes. I'm just trying to process. Okay. Some people saying I can't see myself doing anything else. Some people saying that it's not just a passion; it's much more than a passion. Okay. But on the other hand, there are some things, unhappiness with the system and a lot of difficult times. Okay.
I do understand how people would feel that way. Okay. All right, so let's
close voting, shall we?
Close voting. Hopefully, voting is closed. Okay, so moving on. Let's see if we get the results. All right. Why doesn't this ever work? Gosh. Menu. And
show test votes.
Exactly.
Is that it?
I think so. Let's hope so.
There we go.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Of you. 11-6. Okay, it's moving. Honestly, don't know. It's processing. Close the box there, Shawn, can you? Close there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, test votes is the real votes, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
So it's still processing, but the tendency here is that most people would change their job. And I really do think this should be a wake-up call. I don't know if any authority is looking at this or if they're going to watch this video, but if you are, please pay attention to these results, because this clearly shows people are not happy. Okay. And there it goes. Yeah.
But then some of the later ones are more optimistic, okay?
Okay.
Let's keep up with that. Let's keep that idea.
Let's hope the tendency
Okay, so
stays.
we're almost there, because 113 are the total.
Yeah.
And 16.
20. Okay. All right. Okay, so we get the tendency, even though now it's changing. Honestly, don't know. But again, definitely the amount of people who would still keep on teaching is not as overwhelming as we thought it might be, right? Okay, so let's go back.
Let's move forward. Yes, we're going to move forward, and yep, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So, points of frustration. So we are going to talk about, or we're going to share a little bit about what we would perceive could be things that are frustrating. For example, we talked about society maybe doesn't value teaching enough, the paperwork, okay? Or nowadays it's the digital work. So much work, okay?
Yeah,
work.
Technology, right? Smartphones, smartwatches, smart something. Everything is smart nowadays, right? And then we've got Teams, Google Meet, Blackboard, Zoom, 8x8, Moodle. What else do you need to learn how to work with, right? And then especially last year, it was one class, one platform, another class, another platform. And it was just crazy. How many things did you have to learn to work with at the same time, right?
Okay, yep.
Then we have the parents. For me, parents who firmly believe their kids are little angels. They can't do anything wrong.
Or little Einsteins, that they know everything. They're so smart.
Fantastic, because they can sing in English. They don't have a clue of what they're singing, but they can sing in English.
Okay.
Or they think that we teachers
don't care.
Yeah, we couldn't care less about them.
No, we wouldn't be here if we didn't
care. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what people think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, Shawn, personal life as well.
Yeah, making ends meet, okay? I mean, it's not the highest paid position in the world, and it's hard to find the work-life balance. For sure, we had this lack of time. Yeah.
And then also the pandemic, which has had a huge, huge impact in everybody's life, right? What people don't consider is that, generally speaking, teachers are much more exposed to illness than other jobs, right? Because we're in contact with 30 kids in one room for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is. And then we get another group and another group and another group, and we are more exposed.
Yeah.
And then with the pandemic, there's this feeling of lack of support and a lot of isolation, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, so these are definitely points that are tough, but let's take a trip down memory lane and let's think about how we got here, right?
Okay, so we've already established that we do feel frustrated, that we do feel there are a lot of things that we don't like, that probably if we could go back, we would change a different job, but at the same time, we still heard a lot of people talking about passion, right? That's mainly what we saw in the comments, is that there's a passion that's related to teaching.
Wouldn't take a different job. No way.
So you're going to need a Post-it for this activity. It's very short. So Post-it or a piece of paper, something that you can write on, okay? Yeah?
Post-its are nice because they're not very big. We don't need you to write a lot.
No, it's just a couple of words.
And you can keep it.
Yeah. And even though, so we're going to ask you a question, and we want you to write your answer on that Post-it or piece of paper, okay? Of course, you can share it with us on the comments, but this is something that it's for you. It's very personal, even though Shawn and I are going to share our own opinions about it, okay? So our question is, here we go.
Why did I become a teacher?
So take a minute, take a deep breath, go back, go way back if you've been teaching for as long as the two of us have, and think, what made you become a teacher? What made you become a teacher, Shawn? I'm going to write.
I'm going to write.
You're writing blue, then I'll write pink.
My answer is Spanish.
Terrible with.
What you see in common here is foreign languages, okay? I've always loved foreign languages. I happened to take a Spanish class in school, and I loved it. It really changed my life. I ended up living in Barcelona, and I studied Spanish for a long time, and then I started working. And I was not going to be a teacher. No, I didn't study to be a teacher in undergraduate. No, I wasn't going to be a teacher. But I went for a Spanish master's. And to support my Spanish master's, I became a teacher. I became a teaching assistant at the university. And then I kept on with my German, and I kept teaching Spanish while I was in the German program. And then I came to Portugal.
And you started teaching English.
And I started teaching English.
Yeah. Well,
and that's when it really stuck.
Well, you know, when parents ask kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? And people just tell you police officer or a fireman or a scientist or a doctor or something like that. Age 5, mom asks, what do you want to be when you grow up, baby? And I say, teacher. So first I went from primary teacher, then I wanted to be a history teacher. Then I wanted to be an English teacher. Then I decided that I wanted to be a history teacher again. Then I decided that, completely. And then I settled with English teacher, right? And then some years ago, I realized that it could be teaching people how to make paper planes or origami. I don't care. It has to be teaching. That's who I am. Right?
Sharing knowledge, sharing how to do things.
But funny enough, my inspiration have always been my teachers, especially an English teacher I had, grade 6. And she's amazing, and she's the person who really inspired me to become a teacher. I wanted to be just like her.
Okay? That role model, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if we have any people commenting in the comment section.
Generally, sharing knowledge, loving school, something that they've always wanted. Great, I would love that. Loving languages, teachers, what they did.
Yeah.
There is a nice one too with a big smiley face about the 3 months of holidays in the past. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But that's what people think that we don't do, right? We don't work over the summer or anything like that. Okay, so keep that thought, keep that happy moment with you. Hopefully you wrote it down on a piece of paper, or you wrote it down on a Post-it. Keep it, because you're going to need it further on in the session, okay? Yeah, so just remember that. So hopefully now you've got that nice warm feeling in you, right? About memory lane, about what made you become a teacher, the good stuff, all right? So
you can go ahead.
Can I? There we go. So now that we've started reflecting, let's take a look at reflection in a way that is going to help us in the future. Okay. All right. So, Shawn.
So we have a nice little picture for you today about reflection. And of course, this picture here has reflection shown in it, but it has other concepts shown in it. For example, illumination, because as you were saying, sharing knowledge with our students, okay? Making them illuminated in some way.
Not Illuminati, illuminated.
Yes, exactly right.
Going to get over.
Goals, we can see this as going upward. So it gives me an idea of goals, okay? And we as teachers set goals.
Yeah. Even if and the goals do not necessarily need to be academic only. We set goals for the kids. We see their potential. We see how far they can go. But we set goals for ourselves as well. Right? Not just in terms of career advancement, but also in terms of personal growth, development, tranquility.
Tranquility, that's something we're looking for in this day and age very much, okay? And we need to take that little bit of time for ourselves. And this thing here makes me feel very tranquil, seeing this drop of water, yeah? But at the same time, there is this movement, and that's why dynamics comes into play. You see how the water's come down and then it's jumped up, so it's very dynamic. Yeah. And we have to be dynamic as teachers. And of course, the ripple effect on others, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that probably influences most people, even though they're not aware of, is that how they're going to affect other people, how they're going to affect their students. Then we've got...
In this day and age, of course, safety and protection. It's a little bit like a mushroom here or an umbrella. And so this whole idea of protecting, giving a shelter, and we have to maintain safety and protection now. And so we've been talking about reflection, and it's not just a theoretical thing. It's not just a abstract thing, is what I'm trying to say.
And the thing is that sometimes we don't have time throughout the year, or we don't feel that we have time throughout the year to reflect, and we concentrate reflection on specific moments. At the end of the term, when we need to assess the students, at the end of the year, when we have to look back at what we did and what we didn't cover, right? But we're not used to looking at reflection as something that is a continuous, an ongoing process, right?
Sort of this feeling that I'm just going to sit back one day and I'm going to have this time, which doesn't come.
Yeah, it never does.
And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to just analyze everything and I'm going to come up with a great idea. No, the idea here is let's think on our feet, keep our wits about us, and let's learn by doing so we can reflect on our actions as we are reflecting while we're in actions, okay?
So if you're into a little bit of reading, if you enjoy reading about these things, this is a great book. It's called The Reflective Practitioner. It's from Donald.
Schön.
Okay, Donald, he's the one who studied German, I did, but I keep forgetting. Okay, so it's a really nice book about that, about reflection on the teachers.
And it's about in every profession, actually. So maybe you have a loved one in your life who wants to think about their profession. This book can actually shed some light on that whole thing.
But tell me something, Shawn. What are we going to reflect on?
Things that happen to us, things that go on around us.
For example?
For example, the school context, because me being a teacher, you can't take the school out of the equation. I mean, there are things that go on in school. There are features of our schools that have an effect on us, and there's no doubt about that.
And then we've got all the syllabus to follow. We've got the colleagues, and now we have to produce a lot of work that is interdisciplinary, right? So with other teachers,
a lot of collaboration,
right? And then there are rules in the whole thing. There's the context, the place where the school is itself that needs to be considered as well. And then who am I as a teacher?
Yeah, thinking about ourselves as a teacher, and that original starting point that we talked about, and what I thought was going to be, teaching was going to be, and where I am now, these things are really important to consider.
And also the learners. We need to put ourselves into their shoes, right? To see what it is that it's, how it's like for them. And we do this. I hate it when I keep listening to people telling me that teachers don't care. They don't. No, we do. We do care. We do think, because every time we're planning a course, every time we're planning a lesson, we're thinking of the impact that's going to have on our students, right? So it's no denying that our teaching approaches, our methods are going to be chosen, taking in consideration the learners that we have.
The learners and the times.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's take something from business now.
SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis.
Do you know what it is? If you want to ask us what it is, or tell us what it is before Shawn goes ahead. Everybody's very quiet now.
No, not at all. But the thing is, it always takes a little bit of time. And so the first thing is from S, strengths.
Yeah,
okay,
this
strengths.
comes from what, Shawn? The strength, the weakness. What did this?
This is a way of analyzing a business, that a business can say, you know, our company has some sort of good characteristics, and those are our strengths. But we need to improve. Those are the weaknesses, or these are things that we look at. And from there, then we can analyze and identify opportunities that are going forward for us. Of course, we have to keep in mind the threats, the things that can get us down, the things that could, impede our progress.
So by using this, we're not telling you to look at teaching as a business. That's not what we're wanting to say. Well, what we do want to say is that there are some things in other areas that work for teaching as well. Yeah. And this is a nice, simple way of analyzing our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities that are at our reach, and also what we need to watch out for, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at strengths first.
Okay. First of all, in terms of strengths, well, you're all here at this event. That is a strength, and I think all of you could write this down as a strength. Teacher training events, that we try to get new practices, we try to get new materials, we try to do new things, okay? And that's important. And of course, just loving education, I think, is just one of the main strengths we all can share, yeah? And then, of course, having confidence in our kids, that could be another strength. Then knowing that even if we're having a hard time right now and maybe the classroom participation isn't the way it used to be, we still have the confidence in the kids that they're trying, that they're working hard, yeah?
Yeah. Of course, that some of these things can also be turned into weaknesses, right? The fact that I keep on watching webinars, the fact that I keep on looking for new materials can end up being very time consuming. So also we need to find this balance, right? Another weakness is that sometimes we feel I'm not able to, but you should always have the yet at the end.
Yes,
okay?
Put in the
always
yet.
And then I would like to be able to better. Now, I'm not going to fill those in for you. I don't think Shawn's going to, because each one of us knows, deep down inside, we do know what it is that we want to feel better about, what we want to improve, okay? But it is something that needs to be considered. Also very important, don't try to change too much at a time. Little does it, okay? Less is more.
Because when you weigh these two things, you can then find opportunities, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But let's consider the threats that there are. For example, spending too much time on the webinars. eventually could lead to you to not finishing the curriculum, and because you're not having enough time to practice, prepare, or to plan it out very big.
But also it takes to lack of time, which is something that we know that teachers feel they don't have. We don't have time, right? We're constantly overwhelmed. We're constantly got this red tape that we have to go over. We have to do all these things, and we don't have time to work it out, right?
And then last but not least, I think this is a frustrating thing when somebody else that you work with doesn't appreciate the new thing you learned.
Yeah.
It might take them time to learn that it's a great practice. It might take them time to warm up to your ideas, but be persistent.
That's not the reason to quit.
No.
Keep doing it. Right, so opportunities, like Shawn said, we'll take a look at them a little bit further on, okay? So remember that we can't stretch ourselves too thin, right? So we need to focus on one thing at a time, and we've got an activity now for you, okay? So again, pen, paper, pencil, something, all right? And you need to draw 4 circles. Okay, 4 circles. On one of them, you're going to write in an ideal world, given a few conditions. And these are the 2 really important things. Go on, Shawn.
So we have here stop doing something and stop to do something. And we know that one of those typically means stop.
Okay.
Don't do it. And that's the stop doing, okay? It's those maybe things that are nagging, or those that are things that are perhaps a weakness of yours, or a potential thing that leads to the threats that you might want to say, I'm going to stop doing that.
Okay.
Okay, but let's look at the good side, huh?
All right.
And what do you usually tell people when they're rushing around? They say, I don't have any time. You tell them to stop.
And breathe.
And to smell the flowers.
Oh, and smell the flowers. Okay.
And stop to smell the flowers.
I'm allergic to flowers.
Or stop to smell the coffee then, okay?
Coffee is good. Coffee is good. I like coffee. Okay? So that's what we want you to think. In an ideal world, right, Shawn, what would be your ideal world? Can I? Okay.
But there's one thing I've got to say, though, and that's this thing here about a few conditions. You can't write too many conditions. Again, you can't talk about all of those different things. You're going to only put up 2 things, because we don't want to have a million things to complicate this. Let's choose our battles. Because of this and because of this, I'm going to modify my ideal world vision.
And this is just an example. So this is to help you, guide you a little bit into what you need to write, okay? Just a couple of ideas. You don't have to make it that big. But this is Shawn's ideal world, right? So in an ideal world, you would like to...
I'd like to integrate more video into the classroom. I'm getting better because I'm online, okay? It's much easier. I don't have to set up a projector. I don't have to do a whole bunch of things, and I'm not worried too much about the internet working, because as long as it works, I have class.
Okay.
But to plan that into my lesson is not always what's happening, so I would like to do that 2 times a week. Get more discussion going, of course, because of this. Use these videos for vocabulary input and practice.
Okay.
Give more grammar input through the videos, and work on listening comprehension through the videos. So this is my ideal world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for that, you need what?
What do I need? Well, inspiration. I need to find the materials. But I also need time. And here are a couple of my challenges, right?
Okay. So you don't have, we have too many classes.
Multiple levels. Now that might not be your cases sometimes.
But it is with Shawn and I, because we teach a range of students from pre-primary to university. So we do have multiple levels of students.
So finding these videos and things, I mean, there's not going to be one that works for all. So it's a lot of extra work, put it that way. In terms of having students look for these videos or trying to do something related to these videos out of the classroom, because I try to do that, they might not like to do online work.
They might not like to do any work.
But given those conditions, I mean, there are things that we can do. For example, I like making YouTube tutorials. I can make tutorials related to those videos, giving them exam tasks or explaining grammar, so that they can do those out of the classroom. We have more time for those games and those fun things in the classroom. So you
mean like a bit of that flipped learning, right? The flipped classroom. There's a webinar on that. Check it out. It's from
last month.
Yeah, last month. I believe it was on the 20th. I don't remember the date, but check. It's there. flip learning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you tell us, now you remember to start writing, okay? Things I'd like to stop doing. Can you tell us what you would like to stop doing? Because for us here, it was worrying about exam results and doing rushed planning. So these are the two things that we would like to stop doing. What about you? Any comments, Shawn, on the section?
Yeah, well, that some of the things in the prior slide could relate to this. There's a lot of talk about test.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, one of the realistic things that people would like to stop doing is stop testing. So maybe find more creative ways to test.
Okay. And what about the things you would like to stop to do?
Well, stop to teach, stop to evaluate. I see this here. I would like to just teach, so stop to teach. I would like to stop having 11 classes to teach.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I would like to stop to perhaps focus on fewer groups of students. That's what the mirror version is, right? Stop doing desk work.
Yeah.
Okay. So
here it's funny because you would like to stop to be more organized, right? Which is very interesting because I know you're a very organized person. So what do you mean you would like to be more organized?
You haven't seen my desk.
Oh, okay. That's the problem. Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I would like to be less of a control freak. I need to feel that I have the control of everything in the classroom. So that's something I would like.
Stop being a control freak.
Yeah.
Okay?
Stop being a control freak because I would like to stop to listen more to what they're saying, put more work on put the ball on their corner, kind of get them to give me the material, give me the work rather than me presenting it to them. Okay.
Stop purveying all the time, okay?
Yeah, that would be something I'd
there
like.
was one comment here about stop doing so much paperwork, okay?
How
Stop
can
doing so
you
much paperwork.
Stop doing that. Those are things that are, again, they're a bit out of our reach. If we can make things more automatic, if we can make things more self-sufficient in a way, right? That's what we should do. Because sometimes, for example, with this online thing going on, something that I discovered was that I can actually get students to do homework on Moodle and most of it self-corrects. So yes, it does take me time in the beginning to prepare everything, but then I'm saving time because I don't have to go over all of that, right? And the students get immediate feedback. Good for me, good for them, right?
Couple more, okay? Stop to listen to the students. Stop to focus on the students. And stop to learn more.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, stop to. That is something that I would love to do. Stop to do research. I would love to do more research. Yeah, can I move on?
Yes, let's move on.
All right, so what do we do in terms of thinking?
Well, we have a proposal, right?
Yeah, so introduce this quote here. If you have not done it before, try writing down your thoughts 2 or 3 times a week about lessons you have taught. This can be very rough. It doesn't matter if other people can't read it. Actually, other people don't have to read it, okay? And then after a week or 2, reread your notes. Do you find them interesting? Do you find them useful? Do you find them thought-provoking? So with this in mind, Shawn and I thought about a tool that might be able to help us, help us to look back at our teaching little by little, okay, and see what it can help us with. Now, this is an Excel file that you are going to receive later on with the PowerPoint, okay? But if you have any questions, please feel free to send an email to Shawn or myself. Our emails are at the end of the presentation, okay? Now, what is this teacher's journal? So what we did was we created a file, an Excel file, that has 1 sheet per month, okay? So you're looking at this every month so that it doesn't burden you too much. And it's going to take you about 10, 15 minutes max looking at this and going over them, because all of what you see here and that you're going to get in the Excel spreadsheet, it's all customizable. So you can change everything. If it doesn't make sense, if something there doesn't make sense to you, just ignore it, change it, okay? If you don't like cats, you can have dogs. That's okay. That's okay. I'm a cat person, so that's why we have a dog there, okay? Yeah. So in the section looking forward, what are you going to be mentioning? Well, you're going to be talking about what you would like to change, why. This is very important. We shouldn't be changing just for the sake of changing, especially if we're struggling with time, okay? And how we're going to do this. Again, one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
1 month focuses on one thing. And actually you can focus your entire year or until the end of the year or a term on one thing only, okay? And it's very important to write down your reasons and how you're going to do this, because it makes it more realistic and achievable, okay?
Right.
Yeah. And then if it's realistic, if it's achievable, you don't end up being frustrated. You're going to be more motivated to keep on doing the job.
Do you remember the ideal world? We don't want to be in the ideal world. No, because we don't. We have a couple limitations. So this is breaking that idea down into smaller steps so that you can come to something achievable and manageable.
Yeah. Then in the My Month section, what you can do is you can add, for example, little training sessions or set yourself goals, right? So training session, there's going to be a Real webinar next Thursday, and I want to attend that, okay? Or there's this paper I would like to read. Or Sandra and Shawn recommended a book, and I'm going to try and find a chapter, and I'm going to make that my monthly reading, okay? A chapter is going to be my month reading. Or you can use little faces, the emojis are not just for kids, okay? And just saying specific days how you felt about something that is related to your goal, okay? Remember the what you want to do this year,
The important part is to set a goal and then see that you've filled in something for the month.
Yeah, okay? So that's one part, and then there's more, which is the ideas I saw. Every time you go to these webinars or attend a course, you're going to see new things. You're going to see things that you think really can work. Those that, no way, that's going to work for my class, right? Talking to a colleague, you might come across an idea, right? So that's where that's what you should put here in this box, is everything that you saw that you find could be interesting that is related to your goal. Remember, it's very focused, related to your goal, okay? Then,
this is the fun part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Motivation videos of the month. Well, you're the video person and you're the music person.
I'm the music person.
You're more the music person,
yeah. I'm the music person. Actually, we created a playlist for motivation. It's there. We're going to talk about it later on. Don't leave. Please stay with us. Okay? So what you can do here is you can, every month, choose a video that is going to help you towards your motivation. And you put the link there. Okay? A song that makes you feel better, you put it there, okay? Your motivation quote. Now, let's imagine that you're a quote person, but you're not a song person. Then fine, you don't put anything here. You don't have to fill all three of them, okay? Again, if you think this is not important, then just change it. Instead of having my motivation video, my motivation song, just put goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, okay? So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, whatever it is, it's completely up to you, as long as it focuses on making you feel better.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the important. And then you get to the reflexive part, Shawn.
Exactly right. So you tried out new things. I tried something. Did it work? Didn't it work? But hopefully it did work. And why did it work? Because then when you learn why something worked,
you have to think about it. Why did it work? Otherwise, you don't get the perception of, should I do it again or not?
Yeah. Hopefully, again, we're going to say yes and then try again.
Yeah.
But if I say try again, no, maybe I would think, well, should I try it a different way?
Okay.
Okay, and so maybe something that I tried was actually not a bad idea, but maybe I didn't go about it quite right.
Or I need to think that maybe this isn't right for this class. And I need to think, why wasn't this right for this class? Something that I forgot to mention was that this can also be focused on a specific year. If you want to focus on a year or on a specific class, a class that is maybe more troublesome, then you can also do that. Why didn't it work for them? And then at the end, you assess the good, the bad, what went well. We're realistic. We know not everything goes well. So you need to think about what didn't go well, right?
And then how you feel. So you can use little emojis, or you can put little ticks there, a little X, and you might have several different feelings. You might have the top and the bottom, because the bottom ones are down here. The sort of not such good feelings can be down here. There is a continuation of this list.
Again, if you don't like the adjectives that we chose, then you can just put in other adjectives, okay?
But what's important about this, then, when you sit and you look back at this and how you felt because of it, to then think about what I'm going to do next month.
Yeah.
Because you might continue to try the same thing or work in the same area, or you might say, okay, I'm good at that.
Because sometimes some of these ideas, some of these thoughts trigger other ideas and other thoughts. And our problem, or at least my problem, is that then I want to work on too many things at the same time.
Doesn't work.
Right? And it doesn't work, right? Also, if you follow this, right, by the end of the year or after a couple of months, you're going to start looking at the how you feel column, and you're going to see either an evolution or a fluctuation or a tendency, right? And that's also important for our own well-being, okay? The same thing with the My Motivation lists. At end of the year, you get a 12 song playlist of songs that really make you feel good, and then you can just give it to other people or share with colleagues, right? Yeah. You can also, if you're not a PC person, if you prefer paper, you can also print it. See, we've made it so that it's front and back, right? And you can print 10, 12, and you have them, and then you put them on a nice folder, and you keep them, and you can look at them, okay? Again, if you have any feedback on this, it's totally worthless. I don't think it's important. I hate it. I will never do that. Or, oh, it actually helped me. I actually felt good about it. Then please share your feedback with us, because we would really like to know. Right, Shawn?
Yep, that's right. So, going back to SWOT analysis, we thought about ways that we're going to move forward, yeah?
Yeah.
But let's really focus on this area,
on the opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay. So what opportunities do we have to do things that are going to help us feel better about our teaching practice? Okay.
The first one is very fun. Okay. The first one is, find things for your own language development and maintenance, to keep your skills up, to just feel good about your English, because
sometimes you're an English teacher, but you don't use English in your everyday life, right? And you feel like that in order for your students to understand you, you have to go down to a more basic level of language, right? And you feel like, oh my God, I'm losing it. So this is really nice. It's an app, Elevate, free.
It's free, okay?
Good.
You can practice your math skills too. I actually like doing that. I practice my language, my listening skills.
Okay,
they give you a whole list of people, and you have to remember what they like, what they don't like, and what they've done and what they haven't done.
Okay.
It's very tough. So that's a very nice one, and it's on your phone, and you can do it at any time, and it's only for a few minutes a day. Okay? That's the first one. The second one.
Methodology, classroom management. So you can focus on webinars. Again, there are so many things out there. You just need to choose something that you like and then stick with them, right? So we like watching, honestly, it's not because we're here, but we like watching the Arial webinars, right? So they're good. We like them. I'm not going to go around looking for much more than that, okay? But I can. Then there are the MOOCs. The MOOCs are massive online open courses. So they're free. They only require payment if you want a certificate at the end. But if you're only in for the knowledge, then you can take the course for free. personally, all the ones that I do are on Future Learn.
Me too. And it's really nice because you will interact with other people in other countries. They have usually every module has a forum where you actually ask questions or you give your ideas, and you can comment on other people's ideas too.
And these
so you
courses
share
are
a lot.
quite short. These are 4-week courses, 3-week courses, and they take about an hour a week or 2 hours a week.
Depends, but yeah.
Depends, right? So it's good to keep yourself updated on what's going on. Networks, Shawn.
Networks, yeah. So interacting with colleagues, of course, is important. But then there are other things that we can expand our reach by doing, which is going on LinkedIn. It's just a good idea, LinkedIn, because it's the more professional sort of thing.
And you do find a lot of communities of English language teachers where you can share materials, you can get ideas. So creating this sense of community, and if you don't want to go that far, if you don't want to go into social media world, then you can talk to the colleagues in your own school or on the English teachers, the English language teachers that you know, and create your own little community, right, where you can do this, share ideas, share materials, talk about everything and anything, and not just work. Okay, it's important because we're feeling very isolated at the moment, right? Then you've got the reflection. The journal is used for that, but then you've got the other things that Shawn showed you. We've got the SWOT. We've got the activity of in an ideal world, right? So these are little strategies that we hope are going to help you think about your teaching practice. What I like, what I don't like, and the things I don't like, how can I make them better? Okay? One thing at a time. Let's not try to do everything.
So focus on tomorrow, but not next week and not next year. Tomorrow, really, and something tangible.
And throughout all of this, it's extremely important that we think about our well-being, right? And our well-being is not just our future, our physical well-being, but also our mental well-being, right? Yeah. And remember that there's no limit to you growing as a teacher. The same way we're not putting a limit to most of our students, we shouldn't put them to ourselves, okay? So almost at the end now, okay? So teacher motivation tips, okay? In terms of work, in terms of your work, Shawn, what do you think you could do to be better motivated?
Well, one thing is to take some weight off my back. So delegate to reduce workload. So this might be helping students correct their own activities, okay? You can provide them with solutions many times. That's one way of working, to delegate.
For example, telling them that next lesson we're going to be studying a certain topic and that this particular group is in charge of looking for a video or looking for vocabulary that is suitable for this task, right? Even the little ones can be encouraged to search and bring their own material to class so that we're not making the students work so that we don't work. We're encouraging autonomy while at the same time understanding that we are overwhelmed and we need some time and space as well.
But we might find that the colleagues all appreciate that somebody brought in something quite interesting, something different that I would bring in as a teacher. It's gratifying to see that.
Yeah. And then remember your Post-it. Remember that little piece of paper where you wrote the reasons you chose to become a teacher for. Okay. Put that Post-it on your laptop. Look at it every day before you start teaching. Okay. It's going to help you. Certain.
In terms of your workplace, well, going back to the network with your teachers.
I don't know if you realize that, but we do think that this is very important, creating a support network that's going to help you.
One thing we do in our schools is we share things via Moodle.
Yeah.
This is one nice way, but Google Docs is another nice way, and you can share folders with other teachers, Dropbox folders, for example. Yeah. Because now when we're mostly online, having electronic stuff and being able to share with our colleagues is a very good thing to do. Also, make your workplace a little reflection of yourself. Okay, and that could be something as simple as having your coffee mug with you while you're teaching.
I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you, Shawn. I don't know about people there, and they can share with us. But in my case, my office has been turned My dining room table has been turned into my office because there's 5 of us in the house, 3 teenagers having classes, right? So each one of them in a different part of the house. Me and my husband working. So when he has meetings and I have classes, he goes to the kitchen, I stay in the living room. I've had to teach in the hall. I've had to teach in the corridor. Sometimes I'm going like this, trying to find better Wi-Fi connection, right? So it is very difficult for us at the moment to feel this, right? But when we go and we teach when we go back to face-to-face teaching, hopefully we can make a little bit, the classroom a little bit more ours, right? Okay.
Important.
Then, me time.
Me time, yes.
Me time, okay? I got used to having me time when I go to the doctor, which is a horrible way to spend me time, okay? But right now I'm scheduling, I'm actually scheduling me time in my calendar so that I can find time for myself.
Because you're not using the push notifications to do it, are you?
Well, if I could tell you yes, but if you know me, you know that this is not real. I'm always online. I'm always available. Students can text me. Students can WhatsApp me. Students can email me. Colleagues can do so, even though they complain that I don't get reply to them. Okay, so I've got all of this. But yes, you should really try to turn off all your push notifications. One thing I did was from my smartwatch. I used to get my emails, I used to get my text messages, and now I don't. I just get phone calls. So I'm getting there slowly but steadily. I'm going to get there eventually. Okay, keep a journal.
Can't stress it enough. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, in the random thought area that was here, yeah, I go and I use a lot of how should I put it? Nice language to let the stress out of the day. Okay? Yeah? Sean, more.
Well, after that, yeah, there's a tendency that we're online, that we're on Facebook a lot, we're on Instagram a lot, and
we see all these beautiful pictures of fantastic teachers who can use everything and anything, who have no problems, no Wi-Fi connect. It's not always real. Okay, so let's be realistic, tone it down, and just remember that you don't have to compare yourself to what you see out there.
Yep, exactly right.
Yeah. Now,
your favorite, my favorite of yours, I should say.
All right. So music for me, it's extremely important. Actually, my me time is when I get my headphones, right, and I just listen to music, and nobody interrupts me, and I've got those precious 5 minutes a day to listen to music. But what we did was we created a playlist of songs that I hope will inspire you, will feel you motivated. You've got a range of artists, genres of music. Yes. So you've got everything there.
Range.
You go and choose, okay? If you have suggestions, please share them. I'm always looking for songs that are inspiring and motivational for teachers, okay? And extremely important, please be kind to yourself, because we tend to be our worst critics. We always think of ourselves worse than we actually are, and that takes a toll in our mental health, in our motivation, in the way we react to people, in the way we interact with others, our families, our friends, our students, our colleagues. So be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
Yeah?
There's another tip here too. We didn't say it. Exercise. Exercise.
Oh.
Yep, I've been doing exercise videos, okay? That 2 things to be kind to myself are exercise videos, and I try to remember to turn on either a playlist like this or Spotify after each class. Because sometimes I find that sitting for 2 hours with no music around me, and I could have been much happier with some music to get me going.
Well, I've been exercising a lot, as you can see. If you can't see that, then it's Ariel's fault because their webcam does not portray me as slim and fit as I actually am. Okay, so it's all their fault, not mine. But yes, you know, in terms of exercise, I don't exercise. I've never been a gym person, so if you know me, I'm all coffee and computers, coffee and computers, coffee and computers. So exercise is not my strength. But what I do try is to stretch. I do try stretching, okay? And there are a lot of YouTube videos that you can watch that help you, you know, with, especially with ergonomics because of the chairs and the back and all of those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to think about in terms of our physical health these days too. So
that's the end, folks. That's it. So motivation. Motivation is about challenge, it's about change, it's about job satisfaction, it's about reward, it's about recognition, which is something that we've been also focusing on, that there's this lack of motivation. Somebody actually suggested, why is it that everybody comes out and claps for health personnel and nobody claps for us? Well, if you want to, just tell me when and where, and I'll be there clapping teachers because we are great. We are important. Never doubt that. Never doubt that. There's no tool, there's no computer that is going to replace
definitely not
the human touch of a teacher. Okay? So we've got some time for questions. I don't know if there's any questions, any comments. Okay? These are our emails. So you've got Shawn's email, you've got my email. Okay? Please feel free to get in touch. Please do let us know what you think of the journal or the activities, if they're helpful, if you think that they should be improved, because that's what we're trying. And again, starting by, or finishing where we started, when we said that the old inspiration for this session was a comment that we saw of a teacher last time said, well, nobody focuses on the teacher. We wanted to make this one focused on you.
And thank you so much for your comments. We really enjoy going through and looking at them. At the end, we don't get to focus on them as we're going along as much as we'd like to, but we will be sitting now and looking at them. And
so, do we have any questions, Shawn?
No, just lots of thanks. Okay. And that's what's really good to know.
So
okay?
We do hope you found this useful, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And bye.